Hello and welcome back, everybody, but probably nobody. This is ThorW, and we are back in our journey through Pokemon. And in our last episode, we delivered Professor Oak's parcel to him in Pallet Town, and we came over here to Route 22 to kick our rival's butt again. And in order to go ahead and get kind of snubbed at the entrance to the Pokemon League, apparently we're not good enough for them yet. So we have to go get some badges. But first, we're going to go back over here to Route 22 and take a look at a couple of Pokemon that I didn't quite list before because we were men on a mission ready to go kick our rivals' butt. First off, Mankey, which I've just caught one in order to add to the Pokedex. Mankey is a fighting type, available in both Fire Red and Leaf Green. The mountain Pokemon, extremely quick to anger. It could be docile one moment, then thrashing away the next instant. Thank you, Pokédex, for all that information. Mankey itself is a fighting type, along with its evolution Primeape. It is kind of middle of the ground when it comes to fighting types. It's not particularly exceedingly powerful compared to some of the other fighting types that are available in the game. But certainly, with how early you can get it and how useful it is in the first gym that we're going to go face Brock in very soon, Mankey is pretty decent to pick up. It does become relatively good with its attack stat when it evolves into Primeape, and it's relatively fast too, so not the worst fighting type in the world, but I believe, personally, I think it gets outshone by just a couple of other fighting types that are available to you. Now, if we're somewhat lucky, we will find the other Pokemon available here. If not, then this is just a quick experience journey. The other Pokemon we can find over here on Route 22 is Spearow. Spearow is basically the cousin to Pidgey and that evolution form, only instead of having two evolved forms, Spearow evolves only one time. However, its second evolution, Fearow, has stats comparable, if not greater than that, of the final evolution of Pidgeot. So, making Spearow not the worst pick in the world. In fact, I kind of like Fearow better than Pidgeot. It's a little bit slower, but gains a little bit more bulk to it and a tiny bit of a higher attack stat. So if I were to choose between Spearow and Fearow, I would almost certainly go with the Fearow. Yeah, if I chose between Spearow and Fearow, I'd go Fearow. If I were to choose between Pidgeot and Fearow, I'd almost certainly go for the Fearow as the better choice. Now, seeing as we aren't really finding a Spearow right now, I believe I will make my escape from this Mankey and head back to town. I just wanted to go over those Pokemon before we continue our journey further into the game. Now, I don't really intend to use Mankey on my team. I don't even intend to use him for Brock. I got a Squirtle. Squirtle can take on the first gym just fine by himself. I'll show you all. I'll show everyone. Don't you dare say he can't, Mom. But we have a tiny bit of business here in Viridian City right before we leave. First off, I do want to drop Mankey off into the PC. I don't want him cluttering my don't want him in here cluttering my team. I don't really want to use Mankey, so we're just going to hit Deposit Pokemon, Mankey Store, Box 1. Alright, nice knowing you, Mankey. It was nice catching you. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Primeape. There are better fighting types out there if I want one, so we're just kind of going to let him go. But I am going to come over here and hit the Pokemart, because I have some stuff I would very much appreciate buying. First off, I want some more Pokeballs, because we're going to be capturing more Pokemon. Let's get, I don't know, 7, 8? Let's put us at 11. Why 11? Because it's one higher than 10, so it's better than 10. Alright, next up I want antidotes. Why do I want antidotes? Well, being poisoned kind of sucks. Whoops, I want more than one, please. Let's get 10 antidotes. Being poisoned really is not fun. And dying slowly to the poison is not very enjoyable. And a couple potions just in case, as a bit of a panic button that we can hit if something goes wrong. So, we have set ourselves up with some defense against poison, a little bit of health. Let's go ahead and head north, and we will exit the town very short. Well, now, I've had my coffee, and that's what I need to get going. Okay, cool. What's that red box here? Oh, you're working on your Pokédex. How do you know what a Pokédex, old man? Didn't Professor Oak just invent that recently? Hello? Let me give you a word of advice. Whenever you catch a Pokemon, the Pokédex automatically updates its data. Yeah, I was told so. You don't know how to catch a Pokemon? Yes, I do. I suppose I'd better show. Come on, old man. Old people in Fire Red and Leaf Green are just rude. They don't listen to anything that anyone else says. What will the old man do? Fight! Select fight! Come on, old man. Select fight and go beat that Weedle down. So, like I said before, Fire Red and Leaf Green, this version of the game is just rife with tutorials. There are tutorials on everything. I'm surprised there's not a tutorial on how to breathe for this game. So, we're forced to sit through this tutorial. There, now tell me, that was educational, was it not? And here, take this too. So for sitting here and listening to the old man teach us something we know how to do, we get Teachy TV. If there's something you don't understand, you can watch that, and it'll teach you the basics about how to be a Pokemon trainer. So basically, it's something we can sit and watch to learn how to do stuff we already know how to do. Awesome. So, Route 2 has an area over here to the right that we can't get to because of this tree that we have no possible means to cut down or walk around or anything like that, so we're just going to have to ignore it. And a small patch of grass on the left side before we hit Viridian Forest. Now in this patch of grass are 2 Pokemon, which we have not seen before. I will cover them throughout Viridian Forest because we're going to be seeing plenty of them up here in the Viridian Forest itself. So, Viridian Forest is a host to a few new Pokemon for us. First off, I'd like to go over the, well, I'm going to talk to him. Came here with some friends to catch bug Pokemon. They're itching to get into Pokemon battles. So that's basically the way of saying, hey, there's trainers in here. Okay. How very nice of them. Anyway, first Pokemon I want to go over that's new is Caterpie. Caterpie is basically a little caterpillar guy who starts off as a caterpillar, turns into a cocoon, and then ends off as a beautiful butterfly. Caterpie's base stats are very low. As you can see on the screen, he has very low health, attack, special attack, pretty low speed. He's not very strong, not a very good fighter. He evolves very quickly, though, into a Metapod, who gains a very good boost to his defensive stat, takes a small hit in his speed stat, and kind of loses the ability to fight for the most part, gaining the ability to use Harden and increase his defense even further. However, this happens only at level 7, and then Caterpie can reach its final evolution as early as level 10, evolving into the bug flying type Butterfree. Butterfree, compared to its first 2 evolutionary states, is very powerful. It gains a pretty decent HP score, a nice boost to its special attack, its special defense, and even gains a pretty respectable speed score, especially for how early in the game you can get this Pokemon. Butterfree is one of the most powerful Pokemon you can have on your team for how early in the game you can get it. At level 10 being a final evolution, this makes Butterfree a powerhouse for at least the first couple of gyms worth of content in this game. The other Pokemon to go over is Weedle. Weedle is basically the counterpart to Caterpie, yet another caterpillar, only this one is a bug poison as opposed to a pure bug type. Now, Weedle has very similar stats to Caterpie, starts off yet again very weak, low HP, low attack stat, pretty low speed, not very strong at all. It evolves pretty quickly at level 7 into a cocoon, a Kakuna. A pretty on-the-nose name there by the Pokemon guys, who, much like Metapod, trades in a little bit of speed for a higher defensive stat and becomes a little bit more useful as a defensive wall, but once again, very quickly at level 10, this evolves to its final stage of Beedrill, who as you can see, is basically the attack stat version of Butterfree. It gains very similar health, loses a little bit of defense but gains a little bit more speed, and gains that very nice attack stat. Beedrill, if you wish to have a more attack stat-oriented Pokemon on your team instead of Butterfree, is the replacement for it. So these two Pokemon are very good choices for your team if you just want to be able to steamroll through the early game content, as Butterfree and Beedrill's stats for how early in the game you can get them are just insanely high compared to the Pokemon that you're going to see. Very good choices to think about for you guys. So in this, in Viridian Forest, you have the chance to find Caterpie, Weedle, Metapod, and Kakuna, and one other Pokemon, as you can see in my little bar that I put up there, as a relatively low catch rate, that is Pikachu! Pikachu, the electric mouse Pokemon! Pikachu is the earliest electric type that you can get for yourself in this game, and actually not a very poor one. There's a reason why Ash likes Pikachu, and that's because Pikachu's okay. But Ash likes it for the wrong reason. Pikachu's okay once it evolves. At a base, Pikachu's stats are pretty darn low, especially in the defensive department. Very low HP, very low defense. But once it evolves into Raichu, it gains a pretty nice boost to those stats, including a pretty decent special attack stat. The one good thing Pikachu has going for it is it has some very high speed for especially how early on in the game this is. It's going to outspeed many opponents. As for abilities, Static is one of the best abilities in the game, at least in my opinion. It's one of my favorites, especially for just playing through the single player. And that is, anytime that an opponent makes contact with Pikachu, it has 30% chance to paralyze them. So this is taking advantage of that new mechanic that was added in Gen 3, the contact mechanic. Pikachu in its evolved form Raichu is actually one of the earliest examples in this game, probably the first example in this game that we can possibly show, of an evolution by use of a stone. There are multiple elemental stones throughout that you can find throughout the game, whether it be the Thunderstone as shown here, a Water Stone, a Moonstone, etc., etc. Now you'll notice I went into a little bit more depth when I was talking about Pikachu compared to some of the earlier Pokemon that I was talking about. And you'll notice I haven't shown Raichu on the screen like I have shown with a couple earlier Pokemon showing their evolutions. The reason for this is because I would like to catch a Pikachu and use a Pikachu and eventually a Raichu on my team for this playthrough. I think Pikachu, and by extension Raichu, isn't terribly bad, and it's a Pokemon that can definitely hold its own, especially in the court of electric types in Gen 1. There aren't a great deal of amazing electric types out there, and it takes quite some time before we can get some of the other electric types, so having one this early on is definitely pretty good. So Pikachu, we will be looking for you very soon. I will find you, and I will use my special set of skills to take you with me. You will not be able to hide from me. Anyway, perhaps this Weedle will be the first one to actually show off why I have so many antidotes. That would be the Poison Sting move that they can have. There it is. Hey, right on cue. Anyway, Poison Sting has a chance to poison you. Well done. As if ordained by the gods, it just happens when I ask for it to happen. Well done, Weedle. So, I don't like being poisoned for extended periods of time. It hurts a lot. I mean, just look at how much extra damage that does. That's 4 extra damage. That's a whole attack's worth of damage at the end of each one of my turns. And not to mention the fact that I have one Pokemon. I have a Squirtle. That's it. That's all I have is Squirtle. Okay, so he's going to use another Weedle. So, alright, my options are right now to just tough out the poison and keep getting wrecked by it, or to go ahead and use an antidote and hope that I don't get poisoned again. The poison rate of Poison Sting is not terribly high, so it's in my best interest to actually just go ahead and cure it, and then booble my way back into the fight. Hey! That was a pretty good hit! That was a pretty darn good hit. Nice job, Leonardo. This Weedle apparently rolled low on its special defense stat. Keep up the bubble. Oh no. Well, this Weedle with its dying breath is going to slow Leonardo down quite a bit. Quite a bit. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if a Metapod or a Kakuno's faster than Leonardo. Do-do-do-do. Oh man. We've already learned Water Gun. There we go. Perfect. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of Tail Whip. I'm not going to need Tail Whip whatsoever. That specifically lowers your opponent's defensive stats. In Pokemon, in battling in Pokemon, it's actually far better to increase your own stats than it is to lower your opponent's stats. The main reason behind this is because of the fact that if your stats get lowered, you can easily just swap your Pokemon out for another Pokemon, and then that'll reset your stats by doing that. So, in order to avoid having your opponent just swap Pokemon out, you can instead increase your own stats, and he can't do much. There are not a lot of Pokemon that can do much about that. Yeah, you ran out of Pokemon. Get wrecked, nerd. Whoops, I meant to go to bag. We're going to go ahead and pop a potion, because I don't feel like running all the way back to the Pokemon Center, and restore 20 points of HP to Leonardo. Alright, so there are a few other trainers that we're going to see on our way here, and right here we got another antidote. There's actually three potions total in here. We've already picked up one of them. So we're going to go around, and actually I'm going to take the time and fight every single trainer. The main reason why I'm going to fight every trainer is because trainer Pokemon actually give a fair bit more experience than a wild Pokemon does. So obviously I want to go ahead and make sure that Leonardo is very strong. And now that we're level 13 and we got Water Gun, when we go face off against Brock in his gym, Leonardo's going to clean house. He's just going to crush his way through there. Ain't no stopping Captain Leonardo. The leader of the Ninja Turtles. The best turtle. You know, everyone always liked Raphael when they were... like when growing up, because he was like a hothead and he was the big tough guy and everything. But if you pay attention, Raphael gets his ass kicked all the time. He gets his butt kicked by everyone, man. Like, Raphael has to be one of the less effective turtles in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Leonardo, on the other hand, beats up the Shredder by himself once in a while. So I gotta go with Leo. You gotta go with Leo when you go for the turtles. Another Caterpie. Not what I'm looking for. However, maybe I'll catch one. Maybe I'll catch one for the Pokedex entry. We are almost out of Viridian Forest. We'll be out very shortly, and I'm not cutting a whole lot of stuff right now, but trust me, guys, when stuff gets a little bit long drawn and everything, there's going to be a lot more cuts. In the future, because we're eventually going to get to the point where, like, you guys don't want to see every trainer battle, but I'll show the important stuff, like when I go ahead and win some battles. Alright, coming very close to the end of Viridian Forest. Hey guy, what's up? Did you know that Pokemon evolve? I never knew. Hey, Leonardo grew to level 14. We didn't learn anything significant though, but we're about to crush Bugcatcher Charlie. Oh, I lost! Yeah, you did. You got kinda crushed. Squirtle cleaning house. Squirtle, the terror of the Viridian Forest right now. Go Leonardo. Another wild Pokemon. Alright, we're back after that, and if we go down to this little bottom right corner, we've got another potion towards the end. And this is actually the last the last little home stretch of grass, but there's one more bug catcher guy we gotta fight. I believe this is the last guy. Bug catcher Sammy, you and your single Weedle never stood a chance. I give, you're good at this. No, How could I lose with my Weedle? And there's a hidden potion here. Pokemon likes to do that sometimes, where they hide some, Excuse me, wild Pokemon, I was trying to talk about hidden item. Now, and there you go again. And that Weedle levels up to level 15. How nice. Nice little boost to HP there, +3. Cool. Okay, so as I was trying to say, sometimes there are items hidden that you cannot see, which is kind of a jerk move. There's actually one I believe I missed in here. I'm pretty sure there's something in the beginning of the forest, the Viridian Forest. God, I can't remember anything. Anyway, guys, right now I'm going to be searching the grass for a little while looking for Pikachu, because I want a Pikachu. So I'm going to cut ahead to that. See you guys when I see you. Finally! Finally a Pikachu! Oh my goodness, I had to search high and low. It's been like 15 minutes. 15 minutes of searching for this freaking Pikachu. Alright, we're just gonna throw a Pokeball at it. I don't want to risk the chance of one-shotting it with Leonardo's awesome biceps. So, throw a Pokeball, and oh look, we gotcha! Pikachu. All I had to do was find him. Pikachu's data was added to the Pokédex. Pikachu. When several of these Pokemon gather, their electricity can build and cause lightning. Now, as I said before, audience participation. I want you guys to kind of give a nickname to Pikachu. If you guys can. If you guys can think of one. For now, he will have a self-appointed nickname, and if you guys can come up with a nickname that you guys like better, I will take it. And if there are several nickname suggestions, I'll just take whichever ones I personally prefer. But until then, we're going to go ahead and name him, let's see, Static. Static Shock. I didn't have room for the I, but that's fine. Static Shock. That's our current nickname. So once you guys come up with your own nicknames, I'll definitely be able to Excuse me. Yes, excuse me, wild Pokemon. I was talking. Once you guys come up with a nickname, I will replace Static Shock's nickname with whatever you guys suggest. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and exit out of here, back onto Route 2 on the opposite edge. Look, there's another uncuttable tree. We can't possibly make it past it. So, we're going to go right north and hit Pewter City. And this, I believe, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, is about where we're going to stop off for this particular episode. We got a decently small amount of stuff done. We got our way through Viridian Forest, and I explained quite a bit of this and that throughout the way. However, starting on the next episode and moving forward, we're going to be making much, much faster progress as we move through the game. Because I'm going to be cutting out many, many more random battles and much more content. Or much more fluff. I wouldn't call it content, I'd call it fluff. So, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode and our incredible hunt for Pikachu and our information dump of, of Pokemon stats and whatnot. On the next episode, we will be taking on the gym in Pewter City, and we'll be crushing it under our feet like a small little Weedle. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye-bye!